Hello and welcome to another episode of the Sal Licata Show, available on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Well, I didn't think the Knicks had it in them. I mean, certainly before the series. After watching game one, you start to recalibrate a little bit here, but I did not expect to see that type of dominance. As a matter of fact, I've never seen that type of dominance before, at least from one of the teams that I grew up rooting for, even if it is just 2 rounds into the postseason. The last time that I remember feeling this way as a fan was after watching the Rangers in '94 sweep the Islanders in the first round of the postseason and then beating the Capitals in 5 games in the second round. Obviously, it went 7-7 after that versus the Devils and the Canucks. And maybe that's what the Knicks will be in for here. Maybe that's what it'll take to get them over the hump and win their first championship in 50 years, since 1973. But this type of playoff dominance, to me, is kind of foreign. And you can now tell, like going into the series, and I think there were some signs after the Hawks series where you could say, okay, well, maybe this team has, in fact, flipped the switch, because clearly it was not the same in the regular season that it's been in the postseason. And even within the postseason in the first round against Atlanta, being down 2-1, blowing game 2 the way that they did. Now, I did not jump off the bandwagon after being down 2-1. I still felt that they were going to win that series against Atlanta. But as far as trusting them big picture, long term in the postseason, I just couldn't get myself there. To the fact where before this series, I'm thinking, man, Sixers are dangerous. I think I wanted the Celtics a little bit more. And in retrospect, I'd be curious to see what would have happened if it were the Celtics. As a matter of fact, if it were the Celtics and the Knicks put this type of beatdown on them, I think it'd be even more exciting right now, because I think people dismiss Philly, and I understand why. Embiid looked awful. Maxey had a horrible series. The Sixers really gave nothing in this round. I was shocked at that. Who would figure that coming off of their 3-1 series, down 3-1, their comeback, winning in Boston in Game 7? I think two things are probably true, at least in my case. I overrated Boston, and I significantly overrated Philadelphia. Philly was garbage. But the Knicks, they deserve the credit here. It's not about the Celtics not making it. It's not about the Sixers here. It's about the dominance from the Knicks that they were able to sustain here for 7 games in a row in the postseason. And it doesn't matter who the opponent is. They're beating them by 30, 40 points routinely. Outside of game 2, the one game that I went to in this series, the back and forth game, which is a fun game, no Joel Embiid, no Mitchell Robinson. Outside of that, the Knicks have been blowing out the Hawks and Sixers routinely. So much so that you can't even watch the games in the second half. It's just it's a celebration. It's inevitable. You're watching the clock go down because the Knicks are putting on such an ass kicking. So there's a lot of layers to this. And I think this goes beyond who the head coach is. We could have bigger conversations about Leon Rose as the rounds go on. Remember, this was supposed to happen here. So as much as we want to sit back, and I am as excited as anybody thinking that this is a legitimate championship team, you could see in game 1 against Atlanta, I think if you go back and check the podcast feed here, we recapped game 1, whatever it was that next day, saying how that was a championship caliber performance. It was eye-opening to me because I wasn't sure the Knicks had that in them. They'd win a game in the postseason in years past and be like, okay, well, whatever, that's fine. But game 1 against Atlanta was championship level performance. And then they lost the next 2, and then you start to question them a little bit. And then they go out there and play even better than championship caliber. I mean, just dominating Atlanta for 3 straight games, taking their soul, specifically in game 6, right from the get-go. Like, nobody expected that. And then they just continued on doing it with the Sixers. And the excuse for the Sixers in the first round was, or in the first game was, well, they just played game 7. Okay, well, then what happened in game 2? What happened in game 3 and game 4? And the fact that the Knicks could put the foot on the throat and sweep away the Sixers without any real threat, they look like a championship level team. This is what champions do. They look like they've come together at the right moments. Think about it. They have the talent, right? So we never questioned whether or not the Knicks had the talent to be a champion. That was always the case, even dating back to last year. They had championship level talent. They didn't have the depth that they have this year, but they had championship level talent. It was a matter of, can they put it all together? Will that talent be enough to go win a championship? Specifically, the tandem of Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns. So let's start there. Karl-Anthony Towns looks like a totally different player. And it does go to show you that maybe we shouldn't be so quick, and I'm talking to myself included, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to judge and just say, well, I've seen enough and they're never going to be a championship team with Cat because he's soft, this or that. He has evolved. And I don't know if it's the Mike Brown thing. I don't know if it's the depth on this team. I don't know if it's just the chemistry. I was talking about this with A-Rod at his holiday party, and not in reference to the Knicks, but in reference to the Yankees or, just baseball teams. He's like, sometimes it takes a while for teams to gel. Look at what happened with us in '09. Like, talk about the years before that. It took years for the same group, essentially, to get over the hump and win a championship. So he was a believer in continuing with pretty much the same group, and it could take a while to gel. And I think that pertains. I was thinking about that while watching this Knicks team. It's only year 2 with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson being the lead guys. Obviously, Brunson here before that. I'm talking about the tandem specifically and some of the other guys. And maybe instead of just kicking them to the curb or saying, oh, they got to blow it up and trade for Giannis or whatever, it takes a little time for them to gel. And now you're seeing it. Karl Anthony Towns looks like a different player. I mean, the Knicks play as a team, but Towns specifically, in this particular case, especially yesterday, unselfish basketball. So the Knicks are not only talented, but they play with a hunger, a determination, a killer instinct, and a level of unselfishness that equals, like, what more could you possibly want from a team? Talent? Check. They shoot well? Check. They play hard? Check. Both ends of the floor. Defense, rebounding, all that stuff. They're unselfish. Those are all the greatest attributes. They're hungry. They're hungry to prove the doubters wrong and go get that championship. We could sit here and say, well, Brunson's never going to be the guy to win a championship, or others could say that he is. Essentially, or eventually, he's got to go prove it. Other guys have done it. He's got to do it. You could say, well, Tatum's won the championship. Great. Well, Brunson's got to go do that. You want to be on that level, you got to go out there and win the championship. So I could think he's the greatest Knick that I've ever seen, or I would not trade him for anybody, but ultimately he's got to go win the championship if he wants to truly be one of those greats. Well, he's in the process of doing that, but it's not just him. Look at the hunger that the other guys have. And back to Cat specifically, Cat is so unselfish. He was looking to facilitate yesterday with moving the ball, and the Knicks ball movement has been on point. This is what I was expecting, or at least hoping for, with this version of this team. When they brought in Cat and OG full year, like, I'm thinking, okay, they should have ball movement now. Move the ball around the perimeter, find the open guy, knock down the threes. That's how they were built talent-wise. We never saw that a year ago with Tibbs, and we didn't see it in the regular season in the first year with Mike Brown. We're starting to see it now consistently in the postseason. Routinely, that's what you're seeing. The ball movement. It's not just, well, the Knicks got lucky and hit 60% of their threes. No, it's that most of their threes are wide open looks because they're moving the ball around with efficiency. Boom, 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 boom. Open look. Knock down the three. Cat specifically, he can take over the game as a scorer from the perimeter, as a scorer on the interior, or he could be a facilitator. He's been a beast. His defense has been noticeably better. Playing with Max, he just looks like a different player. If he plays like that, Karl Anthony Towns is playing the best basketball of his career. Forget about just the Knicks. Best basketball of his career. That's what it will take if the Knicks are to get over the hump and go win a championship. And again, 2 rounds to go. They're back to where we thought they should be. They're back to where they were a year ago. Now the goal is to get over that hump in the Eastern Conference Finals, something they did not do a year ago. So that's the ultimate goal. It's not like the Knicks are taking bows here. I know everybody's excited about this, as we should be, but the work is far from over, and they know it. That's the best part of this. They're not happy to just be in the Eastern Conference Finals. They're looking at it one game at a time. Boom, boom, stomp them out, take their soul. Okay, on to the next. Whoever it's going to be, Cleveland or Detroit. But Karl Anthony Towns has been the biggest difference because he's been a totally different player. And then you could get to the depth. It's not just Brunson going nuts. It's not just Karl Anthony Towns. They're doing this obviously without OG Anunoby the last 2 games on the road, and it's not like you don't want him back. OG Anunoby is arguably their second best player. Maybe now with the way Cat's playing, he's back to being their third best player. But either way, you want to have him there. And you almost forgot he existed because Deuce McBride was lighting it up. I mean, Deuce McBride didn't miss a shot. How great was that? Man, you just watch this team. Usually as sports fans, we feel angst, frustration. You're nervous going into these games, playoff game, all right. You get starting with game 6 in Atlanta, if you want to go there, or even, I guess, game 4, down 2-1. But you haven't even felt it because the Knicks eliminated that right out of the gate. And Deuce said something interesting. He's like, we knew we have talent, but now we want to go out there and take the game. And you could see that. One of the great things the Knicks did with Tom Thibodeau in his first year was play harder than everybody else. They didn't have the talent with Reggie Bullock and Elfrid Payton, but what they did was play harder than everybody else. And that alone got them to the 4 seed in the Eastern Conference in a year where people were expecting them to win 15 games or whatever it was that year in the shortened year. Now, many years later, you combine that because even with Mike Brown here, they are playing hard, both ends of the floor, plus the talent, plus the depth that they have. That's how you have a championship team. I'm not guaranteeing they're going to beat the Thunder. I'm not saying anything here. Like, if this doesn't get it done, I haven't seen anything close to this. And I love the 90s Knicks with all my heart. I love them to this day. All those guys, true warriors. Kurt Thomas, Chris Child, Charlie Ward, the backups to the backup. Didn't matter. I loved every one of those guys. Watching Knicks basketball this postseason is far greater than anything I've ever witnessed before. It's beautiful basketball. It's heart, determination, hunger, energy, selflessness, having fun, all of it. It's coming together perfectly for the first 2 rounds of the postseason. And it would be a shame if they can't finish it off. I know, assuming that they could get by Cleveland or Detroit, that assuming that the Thunder are there in the West, that the Thunder is the one team everybody looks at. We've been looking at that all year long. Well, that's the clear roadblock. Even with the Knicks not being consistent in the regular season, still the Thunder was the roadblock there. However, I look at it not as, I don't want to say less as a roadblock because I know how talented the Thunder are, but the Knicks are playing championship level basketball right now. If you can't win like this, I mean, SGA is not Michael Jordan. He's great, but he's not Michael Jordan. The Thunder aren't those, the 73 win Bulls or whatever it was. If the Knicks continue to play like this, hard to imagine that would not result in a championship. What do you got to do? What do you got to do to win a championship? God, it has just been a joy to watch this team. With now, I think for me, going into this series, I was a little cautious, optimistic, but cautious and just wary of the Sixers and being a pessimist by nature, not in my thought process, but as a fan. From a fan's perspective, I think it's hard not to be a pessimist when all you endure is losing. I'm not a Yankee fan, so I didn't have that winning. Didn't grow up a Giant fan, so I didn't have those Super Bowls. And in New York, those are the only teams that have been successful. And it's been quite some time, obviously, for both the Yankees and the Giants. So in the landscape of even New York sports, forget about just my fandom, in the landscape of New York sports, this is the closest that we've been now to a championship being a realization since the Giants won their second Super Bowl, their most recent Super Bowl in 2011. That's a long time ago. That's 15 years ago. And obviously the Yankees in 2009. This is the closest we've been to that. That's why I reference, for me personally, the dominance in these first 2 rounds, which was championship-level dominance. I haven't seen that since 94, which obviously resulted in a Stanley Cup win for the Rangers. I haven't seen other teams have been to the postseason. They've had good battles. I mean, you want to throw in some of the Yankees series there in the 90s? Maybe. The first 2 were sweeping away the Rangers a couple of times. Maybe having an easier championship series or even a World Series. I mean, the Yankees in 98, 99 with their dominance. Maybe. But I'm not a Yankee fan, so my perspective, it was different watching the Knicks do it this round. And I don't know if I would expect that type of dominance, whether it's the Cavs or the Pistons in the next round, but I certainly would expect to win. What my eyes are watching is telling me this team has all the attributes right now. Think about the depth. It's not even just Deuce McBride. Landry Shamet coming in. Clarkson coming in. The depth that the Knicks have. You talk about Mitchell Robinson, a beast on the boards. I mean, that's the other thing. How can you not take the other team's soul when they miss a shot, it's basically one and done. When the Knicks miss a shot, they get 5 chances. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable. I never seen anything like it before. So they play together, unselfish. They trust each other. That is very clear. And that leads to, trusting each other leads to the unselfish play. They're confident in themselves. They believe in themselves. They play hard. They're determined. They're deep. They have scorers. They have defenders. They have shooters. And clearly they're hungry. I think it's everything you could possibly ask for in a championship team. You just want to have the health, which, by the way, for the most part, they have. Knock on wood, OG got good news. So it's not like you're going to have to worry about missing him. I would expect him. I read somewhere today that game 1 would be either Sunday or Monday. I think Ian Begley had that. Ian Begley of SNY had that. So I don't know how accurate that is, because what if the
Breen said on the broadcast earliest it could be Sunday, like earliest case scenario Sunday,
okay,
latest Tuesday.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say. Ian wrote Sunday, Monday, but that didn't make sense to me because Sunday would be scheduled Game 7. Thank you, Badabooms. Sunday would be scheduled Game 7 between the Cavs and Pistons, which makes me think it would be Tuesday. So you're looking at the earliest Sunday, and then the latest would be Tuesday. Thank you for clearing that up. Okay, anyway, by then, you're talking about a full... I mean, OG, he played in Game 2 on Wednesday, so that would be almost 2 weeks rest. And if there was a thought that he was potentially going to play in the Game 3 or Game 4, I would expect that he should be ready by Game 1. Anyway, for the most part, they're healthy. And that is a huge thing when you're trying to go win a championship as well. So they have all those attributes there. I'll save the Mike Brown conversation, although give him credit because Tibbs... Now, again, this team is much deeper, so I think this is a bigger conversation about Leon Rose being able to build a basketball team. And maybe we could do some of it here because off the heels of the lottery, where you saw the Nets again get bad luck. I mean, that's what happens when you play for the ping pong balls. You shouldn't be tanking. But think about this. The Knicks rebuilt this team. And again, the bigger conversation should happen after they either get to the finals or win a championship. But they built a championship caliber team without the lottery. This was brilliant trades, good drafting in the later part of the first round with some of their players. And obviously, free agent signings with Jalen Brunson specifically. The only, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Badabooms, off the top of your head of doing some research, like R.J. Barrett quickly was a late first-round pick, or a second-round pick, I forget, but he was a later pick. And R.J. Barrett was their top pick. Like, that's the highest asset that they had. Randall was a great free agent signing that they ended up trading for Karl Anthony Towns, DiVincenzo package, all that. The picks or whatever for Bridges, who, by the way, Bridges has been a stud here in the postseason. He's been exactly what they expected him to be when they traded for him. Now you're starting to see it. The Anunoby trade was the R.J. Barrett and Quickly thing. Again, Barrett, okay, but he was the third pick overall, and it wasn't that they're not winning because of him. They're winning because they traded him. Think about how they built this team. All these other teams hoping to get a lottery pick and have the top star player. Leon Rose has built an incredible basketball team with a variety of excellent moves, none of which relying on getting a top pick in the draft, which is just remarkable. He's built the team the good old-fashioned way. It's been beautiful. Go ahead, Booms.
No, I was just adding to your point. They were shortly building up assets by trading back and then using free agent signings who overperformed, such as Randall, such as Devo, to make the move with Cat. I mean, immaculate team building.
Dude, immaculate. Hall of Fame level team building. As I sat there and watched this unfold yesterday, you're seeing the vision. Now, we could see this for a while, the building of it. But a lot of us thought, and like I said, I'll raise my hand, that I didn't think that it was good enough with Karl Anthony Towns. I wouldn't trade Brunson for anybody, but I was like, is that the final piece? To a point where this year we're talking about, they might as well just do it now. Go get Giannis because I don't think that this team could get the job done. But Leon's vision is coming to fruition. And regardless of who the head coach is, and you have to credit Mike Brown, as much as I didn't love him, because I haven't seen this level of play from these guys. Even though they're deeper than they were with Tibbs, it's still different. The unselfish level of play that they're playing with is unmatched to anything that I've seen with the Knicks before. The ball movement, all of that stuff. So Mike Brown has to be a part of that in some way, shape, or form. But I'm going to credit the roster and the team building more so. Hall of Fame level team building. To take the Knicks out of the abyss and to do it the hard way with discipline and shrewd moves, trades, free agent signings. Nobody looked at Julius Randle as a star. And yet they did. And they signed him and they developed him. You give Tibbs a ton of credit for that. They were able to trade him for one of their biggest pieces right now. R.J. Barrett and Quickly, trading them for their other big piece. And then clearly, like we said, the free agent signing with Jalen Brunson, which is a little bit of being fortunate that they were the Knicks, which Brunson wanted to come to New York, his father, whatever, the history here. And Leon Rose being here. Also, they were getting ripped at the time for that signing by a lot of people. So it wasn't like it was cheap by the league. Oh, the Knicks got this star. Most people are like, it's going to be a laughable contract. Well, yeah, now the Knicks are laughing at you. Leon Rose and the Knicks are laughing at anybody who doubted that because look at how he built this team. This guy's not even a general manager. An agent turned front office, and he has built a near perfect basketball team. If they get beat, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that because who knows what's going to happen here. But assuming that they stay healthy, wouldn't you be shocked at this point if they got beat by the Pistons or the Cavs? I think they'd smoke the Cavs. Pistons probably a little bit of a longer series, but okay. And then even against the Thunder are a great team. Everybody's talking about them, about them as being the next dynasty. I'm curious to see what would happen in a best of 7 with this Knicks team. Hard to imagine that a team could be that much better. I understand the Thunder are better, and then they won the championship, and I still look at them as the one team that the Knicks probably can't beat, but I want to see it. If the Knicks are playing at this level, I don't care who they're playing. I'd have to feel good about my chances. And I don't think it's a fluke, like I said before, because it's not just, well, they hit 65% of their three. It can't be a fluke when they're doing it for 7 straight games. They've done it 7 games in a row. You did it once. Can they do it again? They do it again. All right, I need to see it one more time. They do it again and again and again and again. 7 times they've done this. They could beat you multiple ways. The 2 games that they lost have been by 1 point to Atlanta. Like they are dominating at a championship level. I think this would be one hell of a series between the Knicks and Thunder. And the one thing that's left to be proven, we know Brunson is, elite clutch player and all that stuff, but down the stretch against those best teams, even in this regular season, we saw it where the Knicks had a chance. I think it was against the Thunder. They had some opportunities maybe against the Celtics. Some of those games that we were trying to judge them with in the regular season against the better teams, they struggled with, and they struggled in particular down the stretch, closing those games out. Close, but not good enough to get over that hump to give themselves the confidence. I think right now they're a machine. They believe in themselves, which is extremely dangerous. They trust themselves. They play hard both ends of the floor. I look at this team, and they're going to be going in as an underdog, assuming that they face the Thunder in the finals. They'll be a favorite in the Eastern Conference Finals, I would imagine, regardless of who the opponent may be. Home court, obviously, if it's against the Cavs. They'll be on the road against Detroit if it's the Pistons. Game 4 in that series tonight, so looking forward to seeing how that series shakes out. Well, the Knicks could just sit back and rest. But I would assume they'd be a slight underdog against the Thunder. Everybody else, I think they'd be favored over, including the Spurs. But even if they're a slight underdog, I would like their chances going against the Thunder right now, playing the way that they are. I'm not saying I would pick them to win. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about watching this team with your own eyes. How can you not look at this and think that it could be a championship team? Where are you at, Badabooms? Because you're only 22. Is this the closest you've ever... Well, you're a Yankee fan. I don't remember. How old were you in 2000? I was going to say, is this the closest you've been to watching one of your teams go out there and legit, win a championship?
09, you want me to come in the frame?
Yeah. Pop in. Anytime I call on, you just pop in.
09, I got to get a haircut. It's not looking good today. You know what I mean?
What'd you do?
09, I was 6 years old, so it doesn't... I have bits and pieces. If we're counting New York sports teams, this is really it. Maybe the Rangers in 24 for me. That was... I thought they were going to win, and they obviously exploded at the end. But confidence level, I don't think I've ever had a confidence more in one of my teams. I mean, they're just dominating.
The Rangers 24, that was when they were up 2-0 on the Devils?
No, Rangers 24 was the Panther series. Going in there where...
Yeah, the one I was confident, I think, with them was they were up 2-0 on the Devils. I thought they were going to sweep them, and then they ended up losing it the 4 straight.
That was brutal. I think that was 22, actually.
Okay, yeah. They all blend together for me. But this is, I mean, you're watching this team. This is just as legitimate as it gets right now. So I'm excited about that. Not only, thinking about championship, but clearly this next round, each step at a time. And not only Hall of Fame building, to your point, or what word you used to describe what Leon Rose did, team building?
Generational team building?
Whatever, generational team building. You're also
immaculate.
Immaculate team building. It's also been the old school trajectory. So it's the old school way of team building, right? Okay, let's take a piece here. Like, for me, there are 2 championship teams I've seen in my life from a fan. The 86 Mets, the 94 Rangers. And those teams were built with the same type way where, okay, you could draft and develop. You also supplement via smart trades and free agency. And then the depth pieces, like all of it comes together to build the championship team. The Mets did that in '86, whether it's signing Gary Carter, trading for Keith Hernandez, all those different things that the Mets did. Drafting Strawberry and Doc and developing them. The supplemental pieces, the bench pieces. Rangers in '94, the trade deadline moves that they made to put the final touches on that championship team. Larmer and Brian Noonan and Matteau, all that stuff. And with the Knicks, you're seeing that. But it's also the old school trajectory and where the Knicks have been built up. Okay, well, they win the first round, lose the second round, win the second round, Then they get to the Eastern Conference Finals finally, lose that. Now the next year, it's the idea that you're building to get further each year from where you were the year prior. That is something that they're trying to attain as well. And now they're going to be favorites to do that, just like they were coming into the year, but actually executing it to this degree. I don't know if anybody thought that was even possible.
Last night, I was really reminiscing because obviously they had the lottery. Interesting choice to do it on the Monday or the Sunday of Mother's Day during the playoffs. That was just odd to me.
Somebody was texting me about that, like, you're on home. I was texting about being home on Mother's Day. Like, we finally avoided. I went to Long Island, checked the box, see my mom. Okay, everything's great. Have fun back home. And I made it home in time. They're like, oh, you made it home in time to watch the lottery. I'm like, I didn't even realize this was on.
The lottery?
I'm a Knicks fan. Who gives a shit about the lottery?
The lottery?
I'm not worried about the lottery. Those days are over. I'm worried about Game 4. I'm breaking out the brooms. You're an Ed fan. You're breaking out the ping pong balls or whatever. The Wizards. Who gives it? That's a them problem. I'm worried about winning the championship here. Something I haven't seen in my lifetime with the New York Knicks. Something I've barely seen in my lifetime as a fan. This is it. We're getting close enough. By the way, I was able to secure tickets to home Game 3 Eastern Conference Finals.
That's if necessary.
Correct. If the Knicks sweep the Cavs or win or Pistons or win it in 5, yeah. Home. My buddy Saratoga Wilson and I. Bought
Pistons would be. Wouldn't we have the home field or home court advantage against or
not the Pistons?
Cavs.
We would have home court against the Knicks. Would have home court against the Cavs. They would not have it against
Pistons.
The
Would be Game 3.
So Saratoga Wilson and I thought that the best thing to do would be, regardless, buy home Game 3 for the next round, because it's either going to be Game 6. Game 6 against the Pistons, or Game 5. Worst case, it would be Game 5 against the Cavs.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying there. The math wasn't mathing to me for a second. But yeah, I got you.
It's okay. I'm just letting you know. Like, I'm probably going to take my wife to that one anyway, but I was just letting you know.
You want a reaction out of me for that?
No,
It looks like you want a reaction out of me for that.
If she can't go.
How could you do this again to me, Sal? Knife in the back! Like learning from my mentor there.
Well, good job. She really wanted to go, so I don't know. But we'll see. There may be an extra ticket that pops up. So one thing that I can guarantee is we did win our bet with Clem. Dude, we didn't have to sweat it out.
You won the bet with Clem. I was just on the side clapping along.
Correct. You did not partake in that, but it being a part of the show, we, for the show, are going to have some great giveaways now, and drinks are on us. Clem, the CEO of Stateside Vodka, we a big Sixers fan. We made the bet a couple years ago, and I won. Well, this time it wasn't even a real bet. We didn't even have any fun with it. It was just dismissal. See, 4 straight games. We got to get Clem on this week because he owes us now a pallet of Super Lights and Surfsides that we got to go through the legal parameters. Like, I'm just going to drive around in the Surfside Mobile or Superlight Mobile. I'm going to ask him to put I'm going to put magnets on my car, the Sal Superlight Surfside Mobile, and just drive around and give them away to Knick fans. So that's my plan.
We could drive down the Canyon of Champions.
Well, I mean, we want to get it before that and celebrate. But yes, you're right. The Canyon of Heroes, it's called, as a matter of fact.
I don't know. My teams are never there, so I can't really tell you. You know what I'm saying?
Speaking of the Superlight and Surfside win and all that stuff, and we got, like we said, we got to plan those giveaways now that we're going to be having that coming here once we actually get it to the house. What are we doing with the Subway Series tickets?
I haven't heard anything from Brett. Are we calling?
Okay, so he's out. I'm calling it. He's out
right now.
No, that's it. Brett's out. He's done. So that means we have 4 Subway Series tickets to give away, or 2.
What? You're out?
I don't want to go, dude.
Why not?
The Mets are so bad. They're so bad.
You don't want to see the greatest player of the last 25 years in the history of baseball?
I've seen him before, quite a bit.
Oh, see him again. Do we know who's pitching that day yet? We should have an idea, right?
We should have an idea. I don't.
Here, I'm going to pull it up.
That's actually not a bad idea. So Schlittler pitched.
So Clay Holmes is pitching for the Mets, it looks like.
When? No? On that. You have the probables?
That's what this is telling me. It could be wrong, though.
I get the games mixed up now.
Oh, no, never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah. Anyway, you could look at that. I don't think that's going to make me determine whether I'm going or not. The pitching matchup doesn't matter. The Mets can't hit. I mean, Soto against the Yanks, fine. Citi Field, Subway Series. The Subway Series. It's hard enough to go when the Mets are actually good, but they're the worst team in baseball, and the Yankees are going to dominate. Anyway, we have at least a pair of tickets to give away, which we are going to do in tomorrow's live stream. We will be on again, as we're trying to do here routinely, as Badabooms and I figure out our routine, usually around 8:15, maybe 8:30 if he's lollygagging or whatever, or if I'm lollygagging being a little late. 8:15, 8:30.
If he's, most days it's not me, brother. Today there was, some breaking news that I was checking out. I told you already.
What? What breaking news?
You want me to say it on air?
What? The Giants?
No, definitely. They were 2 Giants. I'll tell you that.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
The Sidney Sweeney.
Referring to Euphoria. I have not seen that.
2 Giants.
I'm going to check that out. I was trying to be busy with the show. Anyway, tomorrow's live stream, we will be giving away a pair of tickets, field-level tickets, courtesy of Sachdev Orthodontics. And that is in Rockland County. Our buddy Raj, he gave us a pair of tickets to give away, which we've been promoting for a while. We gave them away. The guy who won, Brett, did not claim them for the last 2 weeks, is it? A week and a half, whatever it's been. We got to move on because the game is this Friday, so we'll be giving away a pair. I just don't know. I want to text Raj and ask him if it's because he's like, okay, well, I'll give you another pair of tickets. You and Badabooms go with the people.
It feels wrong that we don't go. You know what I mean? It feels like.
Do you really want to go?
Well, I feel like there's some great content there. I wanted to bring the camera.
Can I just tell you honestly why I really don't want to go? Yes, this is the truth. There's 2 reasons. One, because the Mets are god awful, and I don't want to see the Yankees trounce the Mets in person. That's and deal with the fans and all that stuff. That's number one. But really, the reason is I don't want I'm working that day at Baseball Night New York on SNY. I know, but then I got to take the train up the 7 train all the way there. I know. But I'm just telling you why I don't want to go. All right, I'm going. You seem to want to go.
I love watching baseball live.
Okay, all right, I'm in. So I'm in.
I think, in my opinion, it's
final,
the best sport to watch live.
That's it. Final verdict. It's in. We're going. I got to tell my wife. Anyway, so it's going to be me and you, field level tickets with the people who win this, or the person and his get whatever, whoever wins.
Somebody
this.
In the chat said we at least need Badabooms there. Like I'm going.
We'll be there. Okay,
I'm going, brother.
So then maybe we give away 3 tickets. Okay. No,
I wouldn't hate if it's an anti-Badabooms group that gets the tickets too. So I could do a little bit of schmoozing, maybe get them in favor of me.
You're going to be there before. You're going to be there before I will. I'll probably be there a little bit late, but we'll take care of the mics and all that stuff. Well, it'll have fun. So it'll be a fun night. We'll have fun. We'll get some content. It should be all good, regardless of the result of the game. All right. So I am in. Final decision determined. You and I will join the winners of this contest that we will be doing tomorrow during the live stream. That's the only way to do it. So during the live stream, people could watch and then hop in, right? I mean, that's how it's going to be done.
Yes, correct. And we'll do a trivia style question pertaining to the show. So whoever gets the answer,
first, and you'll be able to determine that in the marker in the chat by the time of it, right? So there's no mishaps here.
Yeah, it's gonna be related to the show, so that
So Brett, we're
a loyal watcher, viewer, and I said Brett, if he comes around, I got a pair of game used for him.
What do you mean game used? What?
We said that on Friday. I got a pair of game used. If Brett comes around, I still have a prize for him.
You concerned about the Yankees at all? I'm not. I didn't even think really much of it. They got swept by the Brewers. Okay, it happens. Big deal. It was a tight series. Just they came up on the wrong side of it. But I saw somebody ask a question to Aaron Boone afterward, like, hey, you're 1-8 against teams with a winning record this year. And Boone right away was like, come on. He basically was saying, what kind of stupid bleeping question is that? Like, we're a good team. We know we're a good team. I'm not concerned at all. You, the Yankee fan of the two, you concerned at all about the Yanks?
6 of those 8 are against teams that play a certain style of baseball that I am concerned about, and that's the small ball. Historically, they've always had problems with this, but it's just that pesky small ball that kills him. Like yesterday, I don't think either the bullpen or Rodon were bad, but it's just those little dinks and dunks, and then obviously at the end, Terang hitting the bomb to end it. I don't know how essentially you play better against teams that have power and are more all around than the small ball teams, but that's what I am a little bit concerned about. Yes.
Okay. I mean, I still think it's way early. I'm not concerned. I am curious to see what they do against Toronto, who's been not very good this year anyway, but just put the fork in them. And then the Rays. That'll be an important. Yanks lost 2 out of 3 last time in Tampa.
3 out of 3. They got swept.
They did get swept?
Correct.
That was the week. Was that like week 2 of the season where I bet the Yankees? Not bet, but that was the week I picked them to be my team in that pool.
Yes,
which I'm now eliminated from. And then they went on a heater after.
You were eliminated from it.
Yeah, this week we had to pick 2 teams. I was down on my final strike. We had to pick 2 teams. I picked the Mariners and the Blue Jays, and the Mariners won, so they moved on, and the Blue Jays got swept by the
Tampa.
Yes, they got swept by Tampa. Then they won the first 2 against the Angels, so I had a chance because all they had to do was win yesterday and sweep the Angels, and I would have won. They didn't. 5-1, and this shows you how locked in. I'm watching the Knicks game. No, it was before the Knicks game. 5-1 Angels. They had the bases loaded for Vlad in the 8th inning. I was like, ooh, we have a shot. I texted my buddy, we have some life here, and Vlad grounded out the 3rd. That was that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm curious to see what the Yankees do against Tampa. Maybe that's the only legitimate threat, certainly in the AL East. But I'm with Boone. I'm like, come on, the Yankees are loaded. They're a good team. I'm not worried about their record in such a small sample size against winning teams. Although I understand your point, their pitching is just so good, and they're not even healthy yet. Rodon, I don't trust. I never trust him, but not even healthy yet. By the way, I survived Mother's Day. All good, successful day. One thing that I did notice was that we drove past a couple of golf courses on the way to and from my mother's house on Long Island, and then back in Jersey, we see a couple of golf courses. Who the fuck is playing golf on Mother's Day? Like, what are these guys? What do you mean?
No, it's ballsy.
Dude, how? So then it came, and they were like pretty packed. I don't understand it. So either I'm thinking, A, their mother is no longer with us, or like lives in a different part of the world, I guess, or B, but then that's like one element to it, and then B, they must be single or divorced, right? Like, how do you? Somebody's got to explain to me how you get to a point as an adult male. Like, it'd be one thing, Badabooms, if I was, you were in your 20s or whatever. That's different. Like, okay, I see mom for a little bit, or I'm going to play golf, and then I'll go see mom. I don't understand how adult males who are married with children, meaning their wife is the mother of their kids, Mother's Day, or have their mother, how you could justify playing golf on Mother's Day. Father's Day, sure. How is it possible that the golf course should be closed on Mother's Day? Now, this may be unpopular opinion for like a male show. This is not a male show, but like mostly our audience is males, unfortunately. I wish it was all females. Be great. By the way, Super Lights, you could male, female. It's, you know what I'm saying? We're all about equality here.
You do have a large female following, though. Are you aware of that?
No, I'm not, but I love that. Anyway, you see my point here about the golf thing? I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know how they got away with it. It's probably the well has probably dried up for them as is. So at that point, they're like, all right, I got nothing to lose, man. What, I gotta like make dinner or something, or I gotta pick the kids up from school? Like,
yeah, I don't.
Or they're divorced.
I think. Bingo. I think on that.
I'll shout out to Jake real quick before we move on to the next topic.
Jake again? We love Jake. By the way, Jake probably fired up about Breece Hall. You want to get that in here?
I love Jake's point.
I know he's talking about the Knicks there.
Twitter the other day about just the Moochie glaze. Give it to me all. I'll take the Moochie glaze for him. Oh, Moochie, the master, is so good at his job.
You guys, the Jet fans are.
No, but
look,
seriously, though,
I worked with one of the biggest Jet fans for 2.5 years, and you guys are all the same. I said this to BT's face. I would say it again, and I say it to you now. I'll say it to Jake. Look, I do believe in Moochie, so I think that there's some truth about it. He took my guy, Klubnik. I wanted him. I told you, and all of a sudden you're starting to turn the corner on him. So, but let's not go beyond where we're at right now. There's a long way to go before we get sucked into the Jets. But BT, you, Jake, all you guys are, Moogie's the best. Oh, the Jets are back. I was at the wedding Friday night. I went to the wedding. The Jets are going to be good. Oh, guys, yeah, I've heard this.
Don't say good. Settle with the good.
I've heard this a million times before. BT was the same thing every year. Oh, no, they're going to be good. It was the same thing every year.
Well, you guys, when you were on, the Jets were turning things around. The gears were turning.
yeah, really. Right. They turned things around, yes.
Well, look at where they were before you were there. They won 2 games.
What did they do while I was there? What do you mean? They didn't turn things around. It was the same thing every year. Like, at some point, you got to get to, as a fan, I don't care how much you love him, you got to get to the point where they got to show me before I go, Aaron Glenn going to be the greatest head coach ever. Guy was a absolute disaster. And I'm not saying I was anti-Glenn. I would have I was on record as saying this, I would have brought Rodgers back and hired Pete Carroll. Who knows how that would have worked out based on the way things went in LA.
We'd be doing the same start.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm just saying that, like, And then after watching Glenn and listening to Glenn and all the preseason stuff, I was like, all right, I could get behind this guy. But it's always, oh, he's going to be the greatest. And then we watch it, and it's a disaster. Oh, this is going to be the greatest. Then we watch it, it's a disaster. Zach Wilson's going to be the greatest, and it's a disaster. Muji's going to be the greatest. Joe Douglas is going to be the greatest. Robert Sala's going to be the greatest. Disaster, disaster, disaster. Like, at some point, you'd think the Jet fan would learn to be like, you know what? I like Muji. I do believe in it, but I've been wrong a million times before. Let me sit back and watch it actually play out for a change. You know what I mean?
Well, he's doing a lot of things different from his counterpart that give us this faith in him. Like, I know it's so small, but as a Jet fan, it's huge. He got all the rookie contracts done already, if not all, a good majority. That was the Jet fan knows that was the thing with Douglas. No, they didn't get it done until the first week of the season with Zach Wilson. I mean, he wasn't going out to do training camp because of it. Like, it's just little things. Like, this guy's tenured. He knows what he's doing. And I love how he beat the market with Brees. Because at some point, all these running backs that just got drafted high are going to sign. And they did it first with Brees to get it out of the way. And we don't have to pay him an extrapolous amount of money.
One last note before I want to get into the MJ review, because I was going into Mother's Day. Like, I had this plan nicely. I know you don't see the structure here, but there was structure. Like, Knicks into the contest with Superlight, into the Yankee
ask you
contest.
For it every morning. I ask you what's the structure.
No, I'm just saying. Like, Knicks into the contest, into the Yankees contest, into the Yankee talk. Like, there was a lot there. And then into Mother's Day, and then into the MJ review, and then Jake and his message, which we appreciate, got us off with a little bit of a tangent into the Jets here. But the Giants did announce that they will be opening the season on Sunday night. Their home opener, first Sunday night football game of the year against the Cowboys. I don't know how to feel about this other than, here's my main takeaway from this. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Jackson Dart and the Giants in primetime, which I like. Harbaugh, the Giants are going to be a show this year. One way or another, whether they're good or not, they are going to be a draw this year because of the coach, because of the quarterback. I love that. The fact that you feel like some relevancy back in New York football. We had that with Rodgers and the Jets a couple years ago. Unfortunately, that was preseason because he gets hurt, first play of the regular season, all that. We don't need to relive that. But now, knock on wood, hoping Jackson Dart could stay healthy with Harbaugh there, the Giants are going to become a show. And right out of the gate, taking on the Cowboys in that NFC East. I don't like when they open the season together, though. I like a little bit of a build-up to that. You want to go to that, Badabooms, Sunday Night Football, Giants, Cowboys? Any interest?
Potentially. I actually just found out there's a Subway Series game on that Sunday as well, so there's a potential reason why they did this.
Oh, that's right, the weekend of September 11th. I wonder if that's in part of why they're doing it. September 11th is that Friday then, right? It would be, 11, 12, 13.
I just saw a comment that really pissed me off. Can I acknowledge it?
Well, what's it about?
And this guy's a constant viewer, listener, so shout out to MJ, but it says, Booms, you seriously need to switch to the Giants. I mean, never in my life will I turn my back on the green and white. Never in my life. You could have me a gun directly at the middle of my head, and I would never turn my back on this team. As many times as they put me down, as many times as they've taken my head and shoved it right in the dog shit, I will never turn my back on this team.
We're talking about the Giants, and you turn it into the Jets again.
I asked you if I can read the comment.
I know, but we're talking about the Giants. It does seem like in your nice background there, you do have like one thing that just doesn't look like it belongs.
What's that?
The Jets logo.
Oh, it belongs to
Knicks, Rangers, Yankees. Yeah.
You got all the teams right there. Somebody suggested put a title belt in there too, which I think I'm going to do.
Well, you just get one. Oh, even if you had a real one, you couldn't.
It's not a real background.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Did you not know that?
All right, so stay in here for this. So Giants Sunday Night Football. We're excited about that. I think we're going to.
I'll go if you got tickets.
Okay.
Probably another false promise, to be honest. Probably another.
We got to see what the rest of the schedule is. Well, I'm thinking maybe you come over, we watch the Jets, we'll watch football together that day.
I'm not watching week one with you.
Why not? And then we just go shoot over to MetLife. Think about this week. Think about this week one day. Not only content, but just like hanging out. Like that could be an all-timer. Week one, you come over. We got all the games up. Jets specifically, probably at 1:00. And then after we watch all the games at 1:00, 4:00, we start to head over to MetLife. It's a half hour away, and we go to Sunday Night Football. We could throw on the Yankees and Mets if the game's relevant, if you want during the day, but probably not. It's probably not going to be a relevant game as it pertains to the Mets. They'll be out of it by then. And if for the Yankees, it doesn't really matter because they'll be in the postseason by then, and it's week one in the NFL. Like that's all that matters. But you come over, big spread, NFL, then we go to MetLife. We'll invite
I think
Frank
it would
the chef,
potentially
maybe.
hurt our business relationship if you're like doing your whole like, oh, the Jets are like, I'm gonna
I'm
say
not.
something to you that's gonna be bad
There's
from you
no.
off the
There's
cuff.
no. Oh, I like the Jets. I want to root for the Jets. I just happen to be a realist when it comes to my teams.
Yeah, I don't want any of that realist shit when I'm watching the Jets.
Okay,
bro.
but dude, you got to be real. You got to live in reality. I am a realist. Doesn't mean I'm always right, clearly, but I am a realist with my teams, not just teams that I root for the Jets and Giants. I want them to be good. You think I like watching the shit that we've watched for the last however many years with both these teams? No, I want to watch real teams. I loved Aaron Rodgers. As a matter of fact, I'm going to wear Week 1. If you come over, I'm going to wear my Jets gear. Yes, I'm going to wear my Jets stuff. No,
Aaron Rodgers stuff.
I have Jets stuff that's not Aaron Rodgers centric.
I don't want to see that man's face. I don't want anything to do with him. No. He is an albatross in my mind.
All right, real quick, because we're going a little long here. I think you sold. So yesterday it actually turned out to be a great day because my mom was happy and my wife was happy, and I think that that's all you could attain to achieve on Mother's Day. I'm not going to be happy regardless, so I already know going in I'm taking the L. But if my mom's happy, my wife's happy, that's a win. And then the Knicks smoked the Sixers on top of that. But we went to see the MJ movie, mainly because you Badabooms told me, you were like, oh, this is really good. You got to go see it. I know my wife loves it. I love it. I think you undersold it. It was phenomenal. And you talked it up. But the thing that I loved about it the most is, now I admit when Michael Jackson was at his peak, I was a little bit younger. You weren't even around. I was a little bit younger, although I did have like a Michael Jackson doll. I was into it. Yeah, there's like Michael Jackson figures I had.
Like an action figure or like a doll?
No, probably more like a doll. Hold on, you want to fill while I go get it? I'll show you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Phil. I'll be right back.
So I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought it was a good shout out to Schoolboy in the chat there. Those are our guys, Schoolboy Wrestling. Now, did he have a doll? Because a doll, no shade to anybody who has it, but if this man had a doll. Yeah, see, it looks like more of a doll than an action figure. I'll let the audience be the judge of that. This is a little bit more like a doll than an action figure there.
Now, this was not my original, because my original I had opened as a kid, and I ended up throwing up on top of it when I got sick in the car.
You threw up on Michael?
I know. We were at Mama Lombardi's Pizza on Long Island. You may know where that is. There's a kid in the back of the car. Threw up all over it. They had to throw it out. But I went back and rebought it, and I've kept it in the box here.
Is there one glove?
Yeah, one glove.
Anyway,
I didn't realize. So, like, I liked it. My father had the albums, like the actual records, which we still probably have somewhere. I'm not going to go get that. But, like, I knew him, and I knew he was a megastar, but I didn't truly appreciate him until you get older. And then even by the time I got older, it wasn't the way that I should have appreciated his greatness. It's like the same thing with watching Michael Jordan in his prime. I knew how great Jordan was, but I hated his guts because he would torment my Knicks, so I was sick of it. Jeter, same thing with the Yankees, tormented the Mets, and just, I hated the Yankee dynasty, so I didn't really appreciate his greatness. And I don't think I ever truly, fully appreciated Michael Jackson's greatness. And obviously, we know about some of the other stuff that went on. Like, I do think he was, I think he was abusive toward children. I don't know that, but based on some of the stuff that I've seen in the biographies. But I actually watched this movie and came away feeling bad for two things. Feeling bad for him, how much of an asshole his father was. Like, especially being a father now, there's a difference between being a disciplinary as a father or as a parent than being abusive. And he was working those kids, specifically young Michael, to a bit like that just should never happen. So he was a real asshole. And I think that changed maybe how Michael would be. It's not an excuse for him, but clearly he had a messed up childhood. So that one thing was how tormented he was and how troubled he was, which maybe led to some of the issues that he had. That, again, I don't know 100% about, but I just assumed in recent years it was not very good based on a lot of the stuff that we heard coming out of the Neverland Ranch. But if you take that away, and it's hard to take that away for some people, I get it. Even my wife and I, admittedly, after the movie, we were saying, man, we kind of like gave up on Michael because of that stuff and just stopped listening to him as much. But you forget, just he's the greatest entertainer I think that's ever walked the face of the earth. That's how great he is. And you're reminded of that in this movie. And I thought the kid who played him, I don't know who he is exactly. Now,
who's his nephew?
Okay, whose son? Which brother? So he's Michael's nephew. He was fantastic in it. And I forgot he was how great of an entertainer. The greatest entertainer I think that's ever walked the face of the earth. And you're right. I left, dude, it was 2 hours.
Jermaine.
I left wanting. Okay, now Jermaine was the one who was distanced from the group though, right?
I believe so.
That's
they
what
said in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. They referenced that in the movie. I have not. We watched it late last night. I got home. I had to do SNY. Slept, woke up, and now doing this. So I have not had time to really look into it because I want to read more about it and learn more about it. But I'm in. It was 2 hours. It was the easiest 2 hours I feel like I've sat in a movie theater and watched. By the way, there was a bunch of previews. We got to run now, but I want to get into the previews. Maybe we'll have that discussion with you. Did you see the same ones that I did? The Hunger Games, Spider-Man. Did you see those previews, or was it different for your?
It was different. I saw the one with what's his name doing a serious role, Paul Rudd, where he steals.
Oh
the
yeah,
song
Paul
from Nick
Rudd.
Jonas.
Yeah, Mandalorian, Supergirl, Spider-Man, Hunger Games. I want to get into some of those previews with you and maybe do like a yes or no. Would you?
I mean,
watch it?
Spider-Man. That's gonna be huge for me. I'm a big Marvel fan.
Anyway, I love the movie. I thought you sold it short. Greatest entertainer of our time. Troubled, major issues like that is something that's just non-forgivable. What he was accused of. Was he ever prosecuted for it? No, right?
I'm not sure how that worked out. I saw the Hulu documentary. It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, exactly. It was not very good. But
there's nothing like Joe Jackson is like the devil himself. Like he's an evil bastard. There's nothing wrong with catching the belt a couple times. So I mean, I caught it. Look how I turned out.
All right, that's gonna do it for us.
Did you never catch the belt as a kid?
No, more threatened with the belt than caught it.
Like just the point, like it's in the corner and they're pointing to it.
No, or like snap the belt maybe,
Ooh,
but just
snap.
Yeah, but not when I was bad. It was only like a snap to be like if you ever. It was my father he nipped all that stuff in the bud. Like don't even jump off sides because if you do, you're gonna be cut from this team. Like that's basically what it was. If you even think about jumping off sides, you're gonna be cut from this team.
Good for him. He knows how to lead a group.
It worked. He ruled by fear, and it worked. All right, that's going to do it for us. Back again tomorrow. We'll see. We'll maybe get more into the Mets and maybe a little more baseball. But obviously, and see what happens. Maybe we get closer to finding out who the Knicks' opponent is with Game 4 tonight between Detroit and Cleveland. Remember, tomorrow, live stream, 8 o'clock hour, we will be giving away once and for all the final giveaway here of those pair of tickets that we tried to give away. Brett won them. He didn't reach out to us, so they are back on the market again. 2 free tickets to the field level. Just hang out with me and Badabooms. We'll do that during the live stream tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye.